everyone, it's Diabetic Danica. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am trying out the Omnipod DASH. So you're probably wondering, Danica, you just got a T-Slim insulin pump. Did you switch pumps? No, I am just trying out the Omnipod DASH for 3 days, so just for one pod session. So I thought I'd try it out on camera. So let's go ahead and take out the PDM. I almost called it a receiver. So the PDM literally is pretty much a little smartphone. So it's been deactivated so it can just function as a PDM. And I was definitely holding it upside down. So it literally has a pin that you put in, everything. So right now I have no active pod, so I'm just gonna fill up a pod with insulin, go through the steps of putting one on, and show you guys. So the Omnipod DASH, which is the new Omnipod system, uses Bluetooth to connect to the PDM. And so the way you can tell that it's a DASH pod is with the blue needle cap. So usually they're not blue, but this one is because it's part of the Omnipod DASH system. So the older versions weren't blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. And it comes with your little syringe and needle in here. And I'm just gonna click Set Up New Pod. And it's gonna walk me through it. So it says fill new pod with U100 insulin and leave the blue pod needle cap on, listen for 2 beeps, and click Next. There is a minimum fill. I believe the minimum fill is 95 units, but I wanna put in enough units for me to last 3 days, which is about 150. So I'm gonna put my needle right on here on the syringe, loosen it up a little bit, and go down to 150. That's just my number, yours might vary. I'm gonna get my Humalog here, put air into the vial, and then pull out 150 units and try to get any air bubbles out. That's always the hardest part. So, some flicking, some pushing. All right. There we go. So there is an arrow on the pod where you're supposed to fill it with insulin. So I'm just going to put the needle right there and push it in, and it's gonna beep twice when you hit the minimum fill. There it is. I finished filling it. I'm gonna pull this out and I'm gonna tap next, and it's communicating with the pod. All right, of course my battery decides to die in the middle of that, but basically it just said connecting to pod, and then it made a clicking sound in the pod and it was priming it all by itself. I didn't have to do anything. And then it says prepare the infusion site. There's also a new feature where you can record your site so that you don't forget. And so this helps promote site rotation. So I'm gonna put it on the left front part of my stomach and hit done. And now it says to remove the blue needle cap, so this guy right here. Gotta make sure that there's no little cannula sticking out, which there isn't, and remove the paper backing. So first I'm gonna stand up and clean off my skin. So as you can see, my Dexcom is currently right here. I have an over patch on it, and I'm gonna put the Omnipod over on this side. So I'm gonna get an alcohol swab, clean it off. Who likes my crazy shorts? So I'm gonna clean that off and let it dry. And then I'm gonna pull off the adhesive backing on here. And the cannula is gonna insert right there. And I have literally never worn a real Omnipod before. I've only worn the sticker. And so this will be the first time I have an actual Omnipod cannula going into me. So this should be interesting. So I wanna make sure it's really dry so that it sticks really good. Wow, look how wide I am on my stomach compared to my arm. All right. So I'm just gonna stick it down. Well, maybe I'll do it this way. I'm gonna do it this way, because the needle's gonna go in right there. So the needle puts it in, but then the needle comes back out and there's just your little tube under there. So it's all secure. And then this is the scary part. So it doesn't tell you exactly when it's gonna inject it, or insert it, it just clicks. So I'm gonna pinch up, I'm gonna hit start, confirm that it's attached. It's clicking. There we go, did it. Yes! Okay, I felt it a little, but it really wasn't bad. Yay! It was way better than I thought. And then I can see that the cannula is inserted in this little window here, so that's good. And there's a pink box here showing that it went in. And it walks you through that as well. It says my setup is complete. So it says I have greater than 50 units in here. It expires Monday. I have a low reservoir alarm of 10 units, pod expiration 1 hour before. All right, I'm gonna close that. And we're ready to go. I am officially wearing my first ever Omnipod, like a real one. I made another video about my review of the Omnipod system, but it was literally just a sticker. It wasn't an actual functional pump, but I'm gonna use an actual functional Omnipod DASH for 3 days and let you know what I think. First of all, the insertion was way better than I thought it would be. I don't know, just the sound of it clicking and then the sound of it going in is kind of intimidating, but it was fine. I mean, it stung a little bit, but it wasn't anything too crazy, and I can still kind of feel it, but it's just the tiniest little feeling. Ooh, so let's take off my tubed pump. So we'll take off the tubing, and then I'm gonna pull this off. I have some extra adhesive on it this time, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to pull off. There we go. So just saying goodbye for 3 days to this guy. Danica, do not forget this. This is how you're gonna bolus.